This is the Aventon Aventure 2, and I purchased this bike in January of 2023. Now, I have finally put over 500 miles on this bike, and I'm going to give you my opinion, so let's get into it. Now, I've made it no secret that the Aventon Aventure 2 is my favorite 26-inch fat tire e-bike. I mean, it made my #1 list on my best of 2023, and so far it'll probably still make the list on 2024. And if you own an Adventure 2 or thinking about purchasing one, well, let's go over some of the things that I've encountered during these 500 miles. When I first got this bike, I had an issue with the brakes. They were squealing and making noise. Now, if you don't know how to bed your brakes, well, you might want to check out some videos on how to do that, but that didn't seem to be the case with this. I contacted Aventon. They sent me a new set of rotors, a new set of brake pads, and that solved the problem. I did end up switching out the brakes to a 4-piston system by Magura. I also increased to 203 millimeter rotors. I didn't end up switching out the brake system because I thought that the brake system was bad on the Aventon Aventure. No, what I did was I wanted to do an experiment to see how much of a braking distance would be by upgrading to a 4-piston system, going up to 203 millimeter rotors, and I just wanted to see if that was going to make a huge distance when it came to the stopping power on this bike. Actually, I did an entire video on it, and it's right here. Really what it came down to was I don't feel it was worth the investment to switch to a 4-piston system for the type of speeds that I ride, because there really wasn't that much of a difference in braking when it came to the lower speeds. During these 500 miles, a couple of times I have had my crank arms come loose. It's not that big of a deal. It's an easy fix. I went ahead and purchased this on Amazon. I'll leave a link in the description down below. And all you do is whenever you feel, or if you starting to hear a click or a ticking, well, just get one of these, put it in here, tighten that crank arm up. Mine's already tightened, and you'll be good to go. If you have purchased this bike and you can't figure out where to find the trip mileage on this, well, you're just going to have to push the left and right turn signal at the same time. It's going to bring up your trip from here, and then you can just, it has 2 trips. You have trip A and trip B, and you just use the left turn signal here or the right turn signal to bounce between the two. And then whenever you want to get out of that, you're just going to hit them both at the same time. I think everyone agrees that it would be great to just have the trip mileage on here by just hitting the I button real quick. Some of the things that has made this bike my favorite is the versatility that it has. I mean, this thing is great in the snow. Matter of fact, when I first got it, my first ride on this bike was on a snowy winter day here in Chicago, and I do ride all year around. Also, I put it on a mountain bike trail just to see how it would perform. I went ahead and took the fenders and the rear rack off of this bike to ensure that I wouldn't have any issues and that it would be fine. And I was pleasantly surprised on how this bike handled. So if you were thinking that, well, I want to ride it in the city, but I also want to hit some dirt trails or maybe a single track. Look, as long as you don't do anything crazy or silly, right, you'll be fine. This bike cannot handle a 3-foot drop or a 5-foot drop or any big jumps at all. But you can take this down any kind of green trail, blue trail, or something like that if it is allowed. So you got to make sure that they allow Class 3 e-bikes on those trails. They probably don't, so you might have to stick to fire trails or something like that. If you're riding this in the city, though, this thing is just a comfortable luxury ride. It's like cruising around the city in a Cadillac Escalade. Even after 500 miles, I still think that about this bike. If you are like many of us, you'll probably go ahead and purchase a second battery for your Adventure. Now, when you purchase it, just so you know, it doesn't come with this plate on it. You'll have to purchase that separately because this bike comes in different colors. They don't know what color you have, so you buy the battery first, and then you get the cover to match the bike. The way I do it, because I will ride this bike and charge it down using the battery while this one is charging, and then I will switch them out. So some people want to just keep it in the box and save it. I like to bounce between the 2 batteries. That's just kind of how I do it. You might do it a little bit different. Matter of fact, if so, tell me in the comments and tell me why you don't just change them out. Now, during these 500 miles, I have realized that I get about 33 miles per battery charge, and I'm in gear 6 normally. I'm in tour mode, and I weigh 225 pounds, and I'm normally cruising between 15 miles an hour to 23 miles an hour. Check out these turn signals. Originally, I thought these were a gimmick, but I have to tell you, I do love the fact that these bikes have them. Aventon puts a lot of them on their bikes now, and I have found them to not be a gimmick, but to actually be very useful. And as you saw, this one turns itself off automatically. After 500 miles, the Aventon Aventure 2 is still my number one favorite fat tire e-bike. Now, is it yours? I mean, I don't know if you have one, but if you do, and I know a lot of you guys have a lot more miles than what I have on this one, but I review a lot of bikes, so I have to ride a lot of bikes. So whenever I get to ride this one, it's a pleasure. So go ahead, leave your comment down below. I'd like to know how many miles you have on yours, but I'd also like to know what you love most about your Aventon Aventure 2. And if you are interested in one, well, I'm going to leave a link down in the description below. Actually, I'm going to leave a link on all the accessories that I've put on this bike in the description down below, just in case you don't want to wait for the accessories video, which is totally fine. This way you can still kind of find what you're looking for, and maybe that'll help you out as well. Well, that's it. I want to thank you for watching my 500-mile review on the Aventon Aventure 2. And until I see you again, enjoy the ride.